reached the halfway point of the season. How would you grade your overall performance? Letter grade.
Incomplete. It's always incomplete. And I think the biggest thing right now is we're improving in all phases. And hopefully that's the goal, regardless of your record, and trying to just overcome all the hyperbole out there of whether the world's coming to an end or you're the greatest team ever, of continuing to work, continuing to improve, again. For the most part, our guys are doing that. Still, this week for us is a little bit different than maybe a bye week last year or the year before, just in terms of there's still so much just basic teaching that's taking place from a bunch of standpoints with young guys and situational work that comes out of games. And so a little bit more, split work right now than we've done in the past, as far as everybody getting a bunch of work rather than just the maybe the scout teams and quote unquote reserve guys getting the lion's share.
Right here, back left.
You guys talked about the Washington game being kind of like a foundation game for you guys with Vernon back and a couple other players. Does it feel like almost like a new team or a new season with the bye week and healthy at quarterback and all of that?
Well, yes and no. I mean, again, there are so many things that go into it, of hopefully guys just learning from situations and putting that in their memory bank and then playing the next one with confidence. And we did that a few times against Washington that we did not against Washington State, for example. Very similar second halves almost of them scoring and creating some uncertainty and all those things. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, finished some drives offensively, and the game might be 30-6 rather than what it was, or more. But still just coming through the other side, and guys defensively improving a bunch. But still a ton. There's still a ton of work to do. Giving up that long run with a couple missed tackles and. Some of those same demons that everybody fights, but hopefully coming out of it with confidence and guys, there was definitely a little bit more excitement and juice of plays being made kind of out of the system and out of the normal rhythm of the offense type thing. And that created some energy.
A couple weeks ago, you'd said that what was holding Vernon back was as much kind of mental as physical. Can you speak to that a little more? Like, what was holding him back? And second part of the question, does a game like Washington, where he plays pretty well, does that change that for him?
Well, when I said that, kind of what I meant by that is you never know with a player, with any kind of injury, that when the trainer says they're clear, but they're not playing their normal self, you don't know why that is. And somewhere on the spectrum of confidence of whatever it is, they're on that. And so, I don't know if it was just this moment where, he said after this many weeks, I'm good, or, whatever it is, I have no idea. And that's one of those things, if you always just try to find that with guys and get a feel for them. But, there were guys that couldn't play in the game that were in a similar situation. Obviously, the position, is going to get a lot more attention. And what was the second part?
Does him playing pretty well against Washington, does that change his confidence, that the outlook you think you see from him?
I hope so. I hope it's built, builds some confidence. And then also, just looking at the tape, made a ton of really, again, simple mistakes that we can correct, and just of having our eyes in the right place just to start the play, and then let his kind of improvised style take over, which is great. You just have to kind of harness both a little bit.
Kind of as a follow-up to that, you talked about the eyes. That was something Jimmy Lake, the DB's coach, had said that he's really good at, is keeping his eyes downfield on third down when pressure's coming. Is that something that's innate in a quarterback you can just see, or is that something that can be learned gradually? It's
more the former than the latter. Guys, have a natural tendency to do one or the other. Either they're, it's kind of like a point guard that is dribbling through traffic at midcourt, they either kind of look down and dribble it between their legs like I would, or they, keep their eyes up and throw an alley-oop. And he has that innate skill of when he's trying to, so much of it has to do, I think, with his stature too. He's used to having to look around guys and try to look, rather than look over them. And so trying to find a lane, it's a lot more natural, which sounds weird for a shorter guy to have that skill. But there are guys that can learn that. When it's innate, it's obviously a lot better.
Back in the middle, Matt.
With Juwan Williams playing and starting the last couple of games, where have you seen him improve? It seems like he's starting to maybe get his stride a little bit.
Yep, confidence, 100% confidence. He's one of those guys. Juwan's a great kid, and he wants to please everybody. So, he's thinking about a million things and just thinking rather than doing. And now he's starting to see things, communicate things, and attack. And you saw him make some plays in the passing game. You saw him make some plays in the run game, and still a ton of room for improvement for him as well. But really happy with how he's progressing, not progressed. He's not done, but progressing.
Back right, Bree.
You've talked a lot about what Vernon did well versus Washington, but after evaluating his film, what do you think he needs to work on the most going forward with the season?
Yeah, I think just what we were talking about, just starting in the right place. There's a difference for a quarterback to predetermine and anticipate. And those are two very different things of I'm predetermining where the ball is going to be versus seeing where I'm supposed to start and anticipating, I might anticipate that I'm going to throw to my fourth guy in my progression, but number one's open. And so just, still seeing number one and still, tracking a progression in the run game, tracking our progression in the passing game, without losing his innate ability to freelance.
Middle, Kristen.
On Sunday, you said one of the things you wanted to kind of stress during bye week was allowing guys a chance to get healthy, kind of recover from some of those nicks and dings. How do you adjust practice, if at all, to be able to give them some time to rest?
Yeah, today what we did basically was we had a group of guys that were kind of out, that if we were getting ready for a normal game week progression, they would have practiced full. And so we had a shorter day. We had a little bit longer lift, a little bit longer meeting time to kind of clean up some lingering issues and all that stuff, and then a shorter on the field time. Got a lot more work with the kind of twos, threes, others than that group of guys that were on the fringe.
On the left, Austin.
Mark, where's Devin Allen at in terms of getting all the way back from his injury? Have you seen his explosiveness come back to where it was last year?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think he's a guy that's there. And again, some spectrum of totally healthy, totally confident, only he knows. But man, he's done some things in practice that are astonishing. There's the guy that's totally confident, totally healthy, and feels it. I thought he was going to take that one in the game that ended up on the ground. I thought he was going to split the seam and take it all the way, and ended up being an incomplete pass. But he's done some great things in the run game, and some very good things in the passing game that maybe have gone unseen. But he's really close, I think is the short answer.
Anyone else? Right here, Andrew.
There was a red zone play. I can't remember what part of the game it was, but Vernon was kind of asking you guys, let's go, and you were looking at your play sheet. I was just wondering, in the red zone, does play calling, does that change at all the protocol with how you communicate with Scott and how that gets out to the quarterback?
That particular play, we were basically in between two. And that happens sometimes, whether it's third downs or red zone. And that was kind of a situation where we got to a point in the play clock, and the play we were going to go with was kind of a motion and a little bit longer action. So that's when we ended up having to burn the timeout, which was unfortunate. And, ended up going with another one. And that was a play where, again, kind of one of those things. But most of that happens beforehand, just as far as our hierarchy of how we're going to do things. And, we lost a bunch of guys on the inside, and we kind of had a couple plays that were, it's just one of those things in the middle of a game that sometimes happens.
Back left, Preston.
During the bye week, like, I know you guys have a lot of different things that you want to maybe focus on, but do you take a step back and kind of look around the Pac-12 and look around the country at what other teams have been doing and kind of see where you are as far as a pecking order at all?
No, I mean, no. I mean, you might, some whatever a play here or there, a fake punt or a fake something here or there, but you can't really drastically, schematically change at this point. You're going to do, if anything, you're going to look inwardly and go, okay, hey, we're doing A, B, and C really well. D and E we need to, improve upon, and F, G, and H we need to throw out, type of second guessing, right? Or quality control, as we would call it, at this time of the year.
Back middle, Matt.
Jim Mora kind of expressed some displeasure with playing Thursdays, and Rich Rodriguez has come out and said he didn't want to play every Thursday. Do you enjoy having your guys play a Thursday game every season? And I think you've done it like 6 years in a row now. And what are the positives and negatives that come with a Thursday game?
Yeah, the positive of it, and for the schedule's the schedule. I mean, the TV contracts, all those things, that's something we can't control. As coaches, we can't control. It's I always love to hear some guys complain about it, and Coach Rich Rodriguez, who I love and enjoy a lot, it's good entertainment. But it's the schedule. You can't change it. And so however our schedule ends up, it's perfect. However our schedule is perfect. You'd like maybe a longer bye week or whatever, but if it's a Thursday game, then you can kind of treat that almost as two in our mind, as you're kind of getting a little bonus day with one and a little bonus day on the other side of it. You can't recruit as well during this type of bye week as you could a quote unquote true bye week. But yeah.
Back right, Joey.
Story in the Salt Lake Tribune about a couple Utah players mentioned that they thought Arizona State was deciphering some of their offensive signals. I guess my question is, how common is that in football? Do you guard against that at all? And I'm just kind of curious.
Were they offensive linemen?
No, I'm not sure.
Because offensive linemen always, it's like the first play of the game. Like, they got our signals. Everybody has our signals. We've had to change a lot just in terms of, you look at Chip's roster or whoever, and there's a lot of Pac-12 guys in that roster, and so we've had to drastically change how we, communicate, just so we're not, saying the same thing. But I think there's a lot that is overblown about that. Of even if and you're trying to see a signal, communicate a defense or a group or whatever it is, and then call the defense, line up, and execute the defense. That's really hard to do.
Andrew.
I know I can't speak for everybody, but I get a lot of emails from people kind of knee-jerking saying the staff has to be turned over. But this weekend, Lee Corso went on national television and said that he thought that you needed to shake up your staff. You guys have been together for a lot of victories. Last year, obviously, title game. How do you respond to that when it's only halfway through a season and there has been a long track record of success?
It's the nature of the business, and as I've said many times, I believe 100% in this program. I believe 100% in this coaching staff. And as long as everybody is in that mode of what we were talking about, of improvement, of, everything of putting our guys in the best possible position, we'll let all the other talk happen. And, when you lose, everything's blown out of proportion. We're at a place where if you win, you didn't do it the right way. And so there's always, that's out there, and that's fine. And Lee Corso is very entertaining. I didn't see what he said, but he's an entertaining guy.
Good. Great. Thank you.
Thanks.